This is TomoNews for Thursday, August 3rd. Catch Me Outside girl narrowly avoids jail.
Catch me outside, how about that?
Infamous Catch Me Outside girl Danielle Bregoli dodged jail time this week after she pleaded guilty to a long list of charges. Instead, a court handed the teenage delinquent 5 years of probation. Bregoli, now aged 14, was sentenced at Palm Beach County Court in Delray Beach, Florida on Tuesday, following 4 separate arrests. Last year, cops held Bregoli on theft charges for stealing her mom's purse and car. She was also charged with filing a false report after she reported her mother for domestic battery and then tried to claim her mom had been using heroin. In April this year, Bregoli was found by cops outside a friend's place in possession of marijuana. She claimed not to be smoking the weed and later said she'd been hanging out with the wrong crowd. Originally from Lake Worth, Florida, the Catch Me Outside girl will serve her probation in California after moving west with her mother to reportedly film a reality TV show. Under the terms of her probation, Bregoli will be placed under a 5 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew. She'll also have to do 100 hours of community service and attend school full-time. So how about that? So now you know why they call it cattle class. Angry airline passengers are demanding an explanation after they were forced to stay on board a hot plane for 6 hours with nothing to eat or drink. More than 300 people on Air Transat Flight 157 from Brussels to Montreal on Monday found themselves diverted to Ottawa because of thunderstorms. According to passengers, they were not allowed to get off the plane, even when the air conditioning stopped working and they ran out of food and water. When the plane landed, the crew reportedly said they would stop to refuel for half an hour or so. But 4 hours later, and with the jets still stuck on the runway, the power went out, leaving everyone both figuratively and literally in the dark. Transat somehow managed to get the lights back on, but with no sign to the end of the sweaty situation, at least one passenger called 911. Police, paramedics, and the airport's emergency response team arrived and distributed water, but the airline wasn't happy they were called.
Person who called 911 from this aircraft with the last 4 digits, 0403, please present yourself to the very forward of the aircraft. Thank you for your cooperation.
6 hours after it landed in Ottawa, the plane eventually took off. According to the airport, 20 flights were diverted to Ottawa because of the bad weather, but it was only Transat flights that had such big issues. The airport said staff were on standby with food and water for any plane that requested them, but Transat never did. And when the airport tried to contact Transat to deplane, the airline didn't respond. Montreal-based Transat claimed in a statement that the airport was so packed it couldn't get loading bridges to the plane to get passengers off or refill its empty water tank. Canadian federal authorities have now ordered Transat to explain just why they wouldn't let the passengers get off the plane. Bizarre. Doctors in India got the shock of their lives after discovering a newborn baby boy was carrying his own twin brother. The anomaly was detected by a radiologist who found a 7-centimeter-long mass during an ultrasound of the baby's then pregnant 19-year-old mother. When the baby was born a few days later, another scan revealed that the mass behind the newborn's stomach contained a small fetus with a tiny brain, head, and limbs. The rare abnormality is called fetus in fetu and occurs when one fetus wraps around and envelops the other while still sharing a single placenta. The enveloped fetus lives on inside its sibling, feeding off of it like a kind of parasite. The enveloped fetus can get implanted in the neck, the tailbone, sometimes even the skull. The host baby can also die if continuously robbed of nutrition, but in this case, surgeons intervened and successfully extracted the parasitic twin. The baby is recovering nicely and will have a hell of a story to tell once he gets older.
DNA test results reveal man in China likely switched at birth. A mother in China is struggling to cope with the most startling of revelations a parent could have. The child she has been calling her son for 28 years is not her flesh and blood. From the day he was born, the woman, named Zhang, loved her baby boy, Wang Yi. She and her husband doted on him to no end. As the boy grew older, many would comment on his big eyes and how oddly handsome he looked compared to his father, who apparently wasn't the most attractive of fellas. This ugly dad complex really got to Zhang's husband, so much so that it eventually led to their divorce in 2004. Unable to let things go, in 2011 the man convinced them all to take a DNA test, and sure enough, the boy was not theirs, biologically speaking. They took another DNA test in 2016, and the results came back the same. The boy they raised was not theirs. Zhang now wants the hospital to pay up to the tune of a couple $100,000 and hopes to find out what happened to her real child, while helping Wang Yi find his real parents. This week, the hospital launched an investigation and will accept responsibility if it was indeed at fault.
Phew, that was a close one. Safety concerns have been raised over North Korea's aggressive missile testing program after the most recent launch came dangerously close to a passenger plane. On July 28th, an Air France flight to Paris took off from Tokyo, carrying more than 300 passengers. 45 minutes later, North Korea test-launched an intercontinental ballistic missile from Chagang province. The missile climbed more than 2,000 miles before returning back to Earth. It landed in the Sea of Japan just 5 to 10 minutes after the Air France flight passed through the same area. In response to the incident, Air France put out a statement claiming North Korean test zones don't interfere with their flight paths, adding that they analyze potentially dangerous flyover zones. But experts say global aviation systems may not be able to even detect a missile in a plane's flight path, let alone warn airlines about it. Adjusting commercial flight paths may be one way of addressing the North Korean safety risk, but it will be both expensive and difficult. This could be the solution to world hunger. Researchers in Finland have successfully made food from electricity and carbon dioxide captured from the air. So, could this new technology help feed the world? The food-creating system uses a bioreactor, which contains water, microbes, and nutrients, such as nitrogen, sulfur, and phosphorus. The electric current triggers electrolysis of the water, and with carbon dioxide captured from the air, the end result of the chemical reaction produces a powdery, edible compound. The compound contains more than 50% protein, 25% carbohydrates, and the rest is fats and nucleic acids. The bioreactor can be set up anywhere with renewable energy, such as solar power or wind energy. No word on how this stuff tastes, but who cares when, according to the UN, 795 million people are undernourished globally, and another 2 billion people are expected to join them by 2050. Maybe, just maybe, this could help. Wanted, Captain Planet. Looking for a new job that offers travel, space secrets, and a 6-figure salary? Well, NASA could be the employer for you. The Space Agency is seeking a Planetary Protection Officer, or PPO for short. For up to $187,000 a year, you'll be expected to avert the organic constituent and biological contamination in human and robotic space exploration. Or in other words, defend our little blue planet from risque and dirty alien life. And to stop spacebound humans and robots from polluting planetary ecosystems. Prospective applicants need to be American, science whizzes, and have advanced knowledge of planetary protection. Or more simply, you need to be Iron Man. For those interested, the current PPO is Dr. Catherine Cassie Conley, and on her first day in the job, she was given a pair of Men in Black style sunglasses. And there's nothing secret alien defense agent-ish about all that, right? Right? Will this stop a North Korean attack? The U.S. Air Force has successfully test-launched an intercontinental ballistic missile from California on Wednesday. However, a military spokesman said it was not a response to recent North Korean actions. The LGM-30G Minuteman III is currently the only land-based ICBM in service in the United States. It is capable of carrying multiple nuclear warheads. The missile has 3 stages of solid propellant rocket engines. The re-entry vehicle is launched along with decoys and chaff that are designed to confuse defense systems. Multiple warheads then strike different targets. An unarmed Minuteman III missile was launched at 2:10 a.m. Pacific Time from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. It flew about 4,200 miles to the Kwajalein Atoll in the Marshall Islands. North Korea fired its Hwasong-14 intercontinental ballistic missile on July 4th, while another ICBM test was conducted last week. What kind of a person throws an animal off a bridge? A charter boat captain made an unexpected catch when he rescued a drowning cat off the coast of Florida last Thursday. 35-year-old Jordan Smith was piloting his boat near the northwest side of a bridge to pick up a group for a fishing trip. That's when Smith saw something fly off Marlar Bridge. He initially thought someone had thrown a bag of trash into the water, but when the object started moving, Smith then thought it was an otter. But once it started swimming in his direction, Jordan realized it was a cat that desperately needed help. Smith immediately scoops the black feline out of the water, not caring that his boat got scuffed up a bit after bumping into the bridge a couple times during the rescue. After being saved, the wet, poor feline reportedly clung tightly to Smith's arm until they were back to shore. Smith later contacted law enforcement, but the case is listed as inactive, as to be frank, there really isn't any solid evidence the cat was thrown off the bridge. But it seems pretty unlikely that the cat was just going for a swim, no? In a very happy ending, Captain Smith plans to adopt the kitty and wants to name her Miracle.
Elephant tramples handler after years of giving rides. If you've ever gone on vacation and ridden an elephant, you might have enjoyed yourself, but consider that the elephant might not have, and sometimes they'll let you know. In Zimbabwe, a 30-year-old bull elephant named Mbanje had been bullied by his handler, Enoch Kofandanda, into giving rides to tourists for years. Enoch reportedly used a stick to force the elephant to do his bidding. On July 22nd, having lined up a new group of tourists, Enoch went to retrieve the elephant, and that's when Mbanje finally put his foot down. The elephant stomped the hell out of his handler, and witnesses say a bloody hole in Enoch's chest may have come from the very stick he used to beat Mbanje. As you can kinda see, the 50-year-old man was thrashed all the way to the grave. Enoch's colleagues were quick to take Mbanje out, as he was still in a rage and they were worried he may be a threat to others. This was reportedly the third time Mbanje had gone after Enoch. An official speaking on behalf of local tourism and safari operators admitted elephants are known to keep grudges for years when mistreated by handlers. World Animal Protection called the incident another sad reminder that elephants are wild animals and should not be ridden. You think?
Wedding pictures literally worth $1 million. A Dallas couple has been ordered to fork over $1 million after a jury found them guilty of defaming their wedding photographer. Back in October 2014, Andrew and Neely Moldovan hired Andrea Polito to photograph their wedding, paying thousands for a package that included a wedding album and CD, among other things. The new couple later asked for high-resolution images, but were told they had to first complete an order form for the album and pay $125 for the cover, all of which Polito claims was in the contract they signed. The practice was standard, supposedly to prevent brides from making off with their HD copies before paying the full amount. Still, the pissed-off Moldovans trashed Polito online and took their troubles to the media. Pretty soon, everyone knew about the Dallas photographer taking some poor newlyweds' photos hostage. As the hate against Polito piled on, her reputation was flushed down the toilet, taking her photography business with it. She sued for defamation in 2015 and was recently awarded $1.08 million in damages. The verdict stunned the Moldovans, who insist they were wronged and were simply standing up for their consumer rights by speaking out. It's a pretty tricky situation. Whose side of the aisle are you on?